Wow, what a start. Hello, hello, and welcome everyone to the Gallop Out. I'm your host, Ryan, as usual, joined by my co-hosts, Jackson and Kaylee. Great start to the show, obviously. A little late because there was an excellent maiden race that went down at Churchill, and clearly my mic wasn't ready for us to start even 7 minutes late. But we'll start with you, Kaylee. How are you doing? How's the week? You're back up in New York after joining us from Keeneland last week.
Yes, back up in New York for this week. Really excited for this weekend at Aqueduct. Saturday's a really good card, so lots of exciting horses coming to the track. So happy to be back up here, doing well. What about you guys?
Love to hear it. Jackson, how are you?
I'm doing good. Always happy to join you guys. I'm a little annoyed because I caught Ryan muted and I was ready to take over. I was about to introduce the show, and then I started talking and I realized I was muted too. So missed opportunity there, but it's all good. So.
Yeah, I'm doing well, other than the mic not being ready to work. But Jackson, appreciate you ready to step up to bat, and just like your host of this show, your mic was also muted. So well done. We are going over an excellent Saturday program where we have 5 graded stakes to go through. 2 grade 3s, 2 grade 2s, and a grade 1 in the Joe Hirsch Turf Classic. Excited to get into this. Obviously we'll get into the 9 furlong Woodward Stakes. That's looking like it's just going to be about 3 horses. Other than that race, Kaylee, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts on the stakes that we're going to preview here?
I mean, all the fields came up pretty strong, obviously. Besides the Woodward, there are going to be likely a few scratches, so that's a little unfortunate, but the card in general is really good. I'm excited to see Rebels Romance. Really cool horse, and I've never seen him in person, so pretty excited to see him up close. I think it's so cool that he's coming to Aqueduct on Saturday. So the sequence in general, definitely, I mean, the stakes races, I thought that, a lot of them came up to be pretty good betting races. A lot of them that I ended up picking ended up being prices when the morning lines came out. So that was also exciting.
Nice. I like it. Jackson, what were your thoughts on the stake sequence here?
Yeah, I agree. Even the smaller field races, maybe not the Woodward, but the other 2, I thought were pretty competitive for being smaller fields. And I thought you could maybe try to take little shots against the favorites potentially. So good betting races for sure. And so that's excited to talk about them as we get closer and closer to the Breeders' Cup. Or what, 5 weeks out now? 4 weeks?
We're getting close. 5 weeks.
Oh, right.
Yeah. 5 weeks. Breaking news from last week. It was a maybe, but now it's definite. Jackson's headed to Keeneland next week.
Peer pressure is a real thing. I got bullied.
Yes.
I don't want to go at all. I don't. No.
Yeah, you absolutely got bullied into going, but that was the right choice. So we're happy you made it. The 3 of us and little bro Maher will all be out there starting next week. I mean, Noah's out there right now. I think he's still at Red Mile, but enough about him. We'll get into these graded stakes. We're going to start with the grade 3 Belmont Turf Sprint. It's going as race number 4. I'll throw the past performances up. I will throw our picks up on the screen. I went 5-4-3. Jackson 1-5-2. Kaylee 3-5-6. As usual, Kaylee, we'll start with you. The number 3 Senbei, trained by Miguel Clement, ridden by Manny Franco. You have this one as your top pick.
Yeah, I think this one is rounding into pretty good form. If you look at what Miguel Clement has been able to do with this horse so far, ran him in the Troy, and the horse ran a really good race. I thought just kind of was an unfortunate trip that day, but I think that the horse fits figures wise, and I prefer him over a few others in here. I think obviously the 526 Black is going to be really tough to beat. 2 figures last time out, triple-digit figures there. But I think Senbei can take a step up here. And Miguel Clement has done really good things with a lot of horses that obviously he's now training. I don't think it's even talked about enough. I mean, deterministic, and is now a multiple grade 1 winner. And this one was placed into a grade 2 by him. And I think can take a step up off that effort. So fits tactically as well, looking at the race, and 7-2 is not a bad price on this one either.
Yeah, not at all. Miguel Clement's done an excellent job since taking over the training of all the horses of his late father, and Senbei is no exception. Senbei had a really nice win 2 back, and then in the Troy, again, you can kind of excuse that because he ran into a horse who arguably is one of your favorites in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint right now, if not the favorite, and bring the band home, who is wicked fast. We'll talk about we'll talk about the favorite right now, and the number 5, 26 Black, before we get to you, Jackson, down on the rail with a bit of a price. We all have 26 Black somewhere. I happen to have this one on top. You guys both have him in second. I just thought off those last two efforts and Pratt staying aboard, where obviously he's going to have, his choice, but this runner is able to be more tactical. He's able to come from far off of it. Last time he was kind of chasing a slow pace, and he ended up winning that one. It was a restricted race, but he made up a lot of ground 2-back in the Grade 2 Troy Stakes behind Bring the Band Home that a few of these are coming out of. Again, he's the horse to beat. I'm going to start this one off with probably a single in all my horizontals that I play. I think it's probably in 3 legs of 3 different pick 5s. So, I'll have this one singled, and we'll build our ticket around 26 Black. This is a horse I've always loved, and a New York bred on top of that in the Open Company. And he always competes well. So I have some love for 26 Black. Jackson, you have a lot of love for the number 1, Live High, Live Low. Go ahead.
Let's go back to favorite real quick. I just want to ask you guys, sure. Look, David, the best in business, no doubt about it. I feel like 9-5 though. Are we really going to get 9-5 on this horse? Doesn't it feel like he's going to be closer, like even money in here? I mean, he just beat everyone in this field as a contender very easily. He won that last race by 2.5 lengths. That's a big margin in a turf sprint. Mm-hmm. And in 2-back races, he beat everyone in there that's also coming back in here. He's got 2 back-to-back 100 buyers. It's way faster than everyone else. It just feels like a horse that's going to be. He's way the horse to beat. I have no question about that.
Yeah, I feel like you definitely single him, or you don't, you're trying to beat him. I feel like he's going to be even money, honestly.
Yeah, he might be a little bit lower than 9-5. I wouldn't be surprised. I think under even money is maybe a little over bet, but I think even money is right around in that range. Mm-hmm. That's a good point, Jackson. All right, we'll go now to the rail horse in your top pick, Live High, Live Low.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think 26 Black has beaten all these, and he's beaten them all very convincingly. I wasn't able to make a case for any other horses that are coming out of Saratoga. The only horse I thought was remotely interesting is this gelding right here, Live High, Live Low, making his 3rd start of the year. You look at it last fall at Aqueduct, he was running low 90 numbers as a 3-year-old. He's come back and put in a couple decent efforts as a 4-year-old. I thought the last time at Laurel, it's better than looked on the page. That was legit trouble he had. He was trying to get through on the rail, and it just watching the head on, there was never a space there, and it never materialized for him. He was going to be way closer than the 5-length defeat looks. I just think he's a horse that's rounding into form. He's going to be a big prize in here. He'll be somewhat forward in a race that doesn't have a whole lot of speed, so I like the rail drop for him. I just think if you are going to take a shot against a favorite, you want to do it with a new face that has potentially the highest ceiling of anyone else in the field.
Yeah, I like it. You are taking that new face in a race that, if you're not with 26 Black, you do maybe have to look towards that new face. Another one that we'll talk about is the number 6, Bold Journey. You get a nice price on this one. He's been chasing a couple slow paces. Kaylee, you have this one in 3rd. Go ahead and tell your points on Bold Journey and anything you want to touch on with 26 Black that we haven't already.
Yeah, if I'm trying to beat 26 Black here, which I am clearly putting the 3 on top, I'm probably going to be using this horse on my ticket, just trying to chase a price. And also it's pretty logical to imagine that he'll take a step off, second off the bench for Mott. If you look at his stats and graded stakes and these types of placements, it's a pretty aggressive placement for him off that last effort, but he ran really well first off the layoff. And this is a horse that came back from overseas, and it took him a little bit of time to round into form. Obviously switched to the turf and ran pretty poorly in the Jaipur, but ever since then, I mean, judging off that effort first off, I'd imagine he'll take a step up here, and I was happy to see he's a pretty big price as well, and there could be more speed present in the race as well that I think could help him out.
Yeah, Bold Journey is a very interesting horse. Without going on too much of a tangent, I mean, obviously you go back to 2023, this horse is in amazing form on the dirt and then gets shipped over to Saudi Arabia, finishes 3rd behind Remake and Skelly in the dirt sprint, and then really goes backwards in the Dubai Golden Shaheen, comes back over 3 okay races on dirt, and then Belmont switches him over to the turf, and the first effort was very good. You can excuse the Jaipur, and then he's back to his low mid 90 buyers, and I mean, yeah, as a 6-year-old, I guess he kind of taught him a new trick.
Sorry, definitely, and the hard spuns, I mean, are very versatile like that. There's a few horses that Mott has been doing this with, I've noticed, especially at Saratoga. I can't think of the names off my head, but a lot of horses that he switched to the turf, and they've run well in stakes races and graded stakes in Saratoga. So that was something I made note of this past summer.
No doubt. He's obviously a fantastic horseman, and when he puts the horse on the grass, you have to pay attention to that because, typically they take that step forward. Jackson, will go to you. Dancing Buck, the number 2, ridden by Kendrick Carmouche off a pretty lengthy layoff, second up in the form cycle.
Yeah, I liked him last time in the disco partner because there was no speed in that race. And I thought, okay, he's going to get out of there, he's going to lead, and that'll be his best shot. But that didn't really end up happening. He went away pretty tamely in that spot. But look, it was his first start in a long time, in over a year. So maybe give him one more shot in here. Because again, there's really not a true speed horse in this race. I guess it would be him. So I've got to imagine the plan is we're just going to go and we're going to see what happens. And that's been pretty good the last couple of weeks at Aqueduct at these turf sprints. It's been very, very speedy. We'll see if that trend continues. I'm probably not going to use him too much, but I think he does scare me in this race as the potential low speed.
Yeah, you mentioned how the track has been playing. It's kind of that, fall meted at Aqueduct type of turf course where it hasn't seen a lot of rain, except it got some rain today. So I'm curious if maybe that changes how it plays a little bit, but it's probably some well-needed rain. Kaylee, you could probably speak to that a little more than us with how hot it's been out in New York.
Yeah, well, I wasn't here in the past week, but getting back, I could tell obviously maybe a little rain was needed. It was, I think, hot in a lot of places over the last week, Kentucky as well. So I don't know. I didn't really take the turf, maybe how it's going to play on Saturday, into consideration too much. I'm not trying to speculate because it can end up being fact that it's firm. We would least expect that, but it could happen. So, day of, I'll try to make any adjustments, but hoping it stays pretty dry for this great day of racing on the turf. So,
me too. And the turf courses normally play pretty fair. But wrapping up race number 4, the Grade 3 Belmont Turf Sprint. I'm going 5-4-3. Jackson's going 1-5-2. Kaylee's going 3-5-6. We'll move on now to the Grade 1. It's a turf classic going 10 furlongs over the grass. We're on the inner turf course for this. I'll throw the picks up on the screen. This is going as race number 5. I went 2-3-4. Jackson 4-3-2. Kaylee 3-4-1. We'll start with your even money morning line favorite, Breeders' Cup, the oldest Breeders' Cup turf winner in history, as he won this race as a 6-year-old last year. I believe no horses won it over the age of 5. And that is why I did not use Rebels Romance last year, and I regret that. But he shows up in this spot. No William Buick aboard. No William Buick coming over. No Flavian Pratt either. You get Frankie Dettori, who's obviously very familiar with the Euro types. Kaylee, we'll start with you. You picked this one on top. Jackson and I both have respect for this one, but I think we're trying to beat him a little bit. What are you excited about for Rebels Romance?
The horse always shows up every single time that he comes over here to the U.S. and certainly he's in good form, and Godolphin wins everything. And I'm trying not to overthink it here. I'm just going to single him. Honestly, I think that the horse is a monster, and I think there's a few in here that you can poke holes in, or they're not super consistent. But the one thing about this horse is every time he ships over here, he runs his race, and obviously did in the Breeders' Cup as well, and has been in pretty good form. So I'm gonna single him here. He looks pretty tough to me to beat.
He does look tough to beat if he comes on his best day with his best effort, which he typically does when he comes over. Jackson, I know we're poking against this horse, but this is one of those horses we just have to root for as fans of the sport. You have a 19-time winner of over $14 million. I struggle to root against him, but I had to pick against him in this spot.
Yeah, he's won 5? He's won Grade 1s in I think 5 or 6 countries now. He's 7 years old. He just shows up and runs every time. He's awesome. He's awesome. Yeah. As far as today's race, though, look, this is definitely not the end goal. The end goal is 5 weeks from Saturday. So is he really going to be 100% cranked up to win this thing? No. But is he still the horse to beat? Yes. Could he still win? Yes. I just think at the price he's probably going to be, he's worth taking a little stab in this spot.
I agree. You're going to take a big stab against in the number 4 Rebel Red. Go ahead and tell us your point on this one. I like the pick coming out of a solid effort in the Sword Dancer.
Mm-hmm. I just think he's a bit of a value play in here. Did he really run that much worse than El Cordobés in that race? I thought, if anything, that horse had a better trip because El Cordobés saved every inch of ground in all 3 turns. He moved last into the pace that was pretty high. He had the best trip in that race, whereas Rebel Red didn't have a bad trip, but he was a little wider. He moved a little earlier and was only beaten half a length in that spot. And now he's going to be at least twice the price, potentially 3 times the price of that horse. I just think he's a bit of worth a little stab in here. He's obviously he runs back to that race in the Sword Dancer or the race at Churchill, because if he runs that United Nations race, he's going to be nowhere. But if the good version of him shows up, I do think he has a shot to win this thing.
I definitely agree, and I think he likes the distance as well, as proven last time. And Cherise kept him at this distance for quite some time now. So I'm with you. I think Rebel Red certainly deserves a shot. I picked that one in third. My top pick was the number 2 redistricting. Quick note on Rebels Romance, and El Cordobez is back in here. Drew the Rail. Kaylee, we'll get to you on your thoughts on him in a second. But Jackson, our buddy Paul Halloran with HHH Racing sent a DRF stat in earlier today that I thought was a tad interesting. In Grade 1 races stateside with Charles Appleby trainees, he is 0 for 11, 6 in the money, without Buick or Pratt as his rider. Buick and Pratt both off of their respective horses. Buick's not over here this weekend, and Flavien Pratt ended on the 2 redistricting. Just to, you don't really have to look into that too much. Just thought I would mention the formulator stat because we all seem to love those. Redistricting, though, had a really good summer up at Monmouth. Came off the United Nations win, 2 back in the Monmouth listed stakes. He didn't face anything, but the United Nations, he was kind of back to his winning ways. He's run really well pretty much everywhere he showed up. I want to take a slight stab against the 2 Euro invaders because, Jackson, I'm in agreement. I don't think Rebels Romance is maybe going to be cranked all the way up because obviously they're pointing towards that Breeders' Cup effort. And El Cordobez, I don't know. I really liked him in the Sword Dancer. I used him on top in there, but for whatever reason, I'm going to play the jockey musical chairs here and go with who Pratt ended up with. I think that speaks a lot. If you're hopping off a horse like El Cordobez, who pretty much off that win was thought pretty highly immediately going into the Breeders' Cup turf. With that being a qualifier in the Sword Dancer. He hopped off to go on redistricting. I know he rides for Chad and Klarovich a lot, but he's ridden a lot for Charles Appleby in the past. So I want to go with redistricting. I think you're going to get the best price of those 3 runners. So I'll take a little stab against the favorite as well, but a lot of respect for all the runners in this race. And this is one of those short fields, but it could be a very, very interesting race in terms of how it plays out.
Definitely. I try not to play jockey musical chairs too much. I also maybe interpreted it as this will be his ride, likely in the Breeders' Cup as well. So it would make sense that he would ride this horse for Chad. But I think that I got to my top 3 through like a process of elimination here, redistricting. I think just my one concern was getting this distance off the bench when he's not really proven going this far. But definitely, I think that the 1 is pretty interesting still, even though he did get an easier trip, as you guys just said. But I'm in agreement with Jackson on Rebel Red and 100%. I think everything you said, I completely agree with. So chasing price in between those 2 a little bit with him.
I like it. Well, let's stay on El Cordobez. You picked this horse in third. Jackson mentioned, Pratt gave a world-class ride last time out in the Sword Dancer, but drew the rail again, and it's not like you get a huge jockey downgrade going to Hall of Famer Johnny V. So, Kaylee, you have this one in third, another one that you think is probably a win contender?
Definitely. I mean, he's very much proven at this distance. I thought that he ran a really good race in the Sword Dancer, even though I'm in agreement that he did have an easier trip than Cherie's horse. I still think that this horse fits very much so in the top 3. And like you said, I mean, gets Johnny V now. Obviously, not too much of a loss really whatsoever. So I think that this horse should run another good race. I don't think he'll be cranked all the way up to win, but in tries is pretty logical here, I'd say.
Definitely. This is one I'm really intrigued on. As well, I didn't have this one on my top 3, but one I kind of want to look and see how he comes out of that Sword Dancer, runs here, and then he's obviously already qualified for the Breeders' Cup. So I'm looking forward to seeing him there. We got to talk about the 5, the only horse in this field we haven't talked about. That's not a main track only. But that's Farbridge, Miguel Clement, Joel Rosario. I don't know. I want to turn this over to you guys in a second. To me, we've kind of just seen his best and seen where he runs, and I don't want to take him again. But 4-1's not an awful price to take.
Yeah, the price is a little attractive, but I'm in agreement. I mean, I've always loved this horse, but he's hard to trust at this point, I think.
I mean, he was an absolute no-show, and the Sword Dancer is your favorite. So, Jackson, same with you? You just maybe seen enough, or?
I just think I don't know how good he actually is. Like, he's taken advantage of really good trips against really soft fields. And the few times he's actually faced legit horses, he has not been able to win. And he's facing legit horses in this race. So at 4-1, I'm not going to use him.
Those are all fair points. I also think he maybe likes a little bit of give in the ground. So, that's typically where some of his best races have come. He doesn't seem to, run the best over the firm. But That's race number 5, the Grade 1 Turf Classic. I'm going 2-3-4, Jackson 4-3-2, Kaylee 3-4-1. Move on now to race number 6. It's most likely a 3-horse field. Picks are up on the screen, and we did so well when we all singled the same horse last week in Barnes, who I believe is still somewhere around the clubhouse turn. So let's see if we can bounce back a little bit here.
I mean, no, I don't think any of us.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think any of us like really wanted to pick this horse though. I mean, I would have loved to pick Locked. Like, listen, if Locked wins, I won't be mad. Just tactically, obviously, it's a 3-horse field. I mean, Phileas Fogg is probably gonna be able to run away with it if he does it going 1.25 miles. You know, 1.125 miles. It's absolutely no problem for him. So, I
agree. And so, I believe it was it David Grenning or David Aragona? One of them tweeted, I think it was Aragona, tweeted about some possible scratches with a lot of these horses being cross-entered, and it looks like it's only going to be a 3-horse field with post time, the number 6 Phileas Fogg and the number 7 Locked. So we'll start with Phileas Fogg. Yes, this horse should get out to the lead and take them all the way around there. He's done it at 1.25 miles before he's done it going shorter. Jackson, any thoughts to add on the 6 Phileas Fogg? And we'll talk about the other 2 runners in here as well.
I'm a sucker for lone speed, and this horse is loose as loose can be in this race. And he's got the best recent form, too. So, I mean, he's supposed to win as long as they utilize his speed.
Agreed. Again, yeah, Locked. It's weird that we're kind of wondering who this horse is after that. He didn't come back from the big cap maybe the same. I mean, he's run a couple 96s. Those are both fine. But, I mean, before that, you know, from the Cigar Mile to the Pegasus World Cup and then the Big Cap, those were 3 very good races, and he progressed really nicely. And it was a little unusual to see him take a step back. Maybe he can get back to his form today. Do you think there's any chance, I'll let either of you speak, that Johnny V maybe has this one a little bit more involved early?
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's really the one thing. I mean, I do hope, obviously, that a few horses stay in here. It's not like anything's confirmed. I mean, I don't know for sure, but definitely hoping another horse maybe stays in, because I do think that he's just not fast enough to compete with Phileas Fogg's speed. But I do think that he'll try to have him involved early on, and the jockey change certainly kind of hints at that a little bit.
Definitely. Jackson, any thoughts on Locked, and would your opinion change if any other horses drew in, or does Phileas Fogg still loose as loose can be?
I still think he's the best horse regardless of who stays in the race. If a speed horse ends up staying in here, then maybe it can make it more difficult for him. But, you know, Locke tried to go after him a little bit in that race in the Suburban. He was only a length off of it, or 2 lengths off of it, and he was no match in that spot. So, yeah, I'm all the 6 in this race.
Yeah, I don't really have anything against the 6 Phileas Fogg. I do like Locked as a horse. You know, I've had his back more than a few times, but you know, I don't know. I can't really take him in here off those efforts. Last one we'll talk about is the ever consistent post time. 2 back in the Whitney was the first time he's ever missed the board in all of his now 20 career starts, but he bounced back with a 103 in the Polynesian Stakes at Laurel. Again, this is a horse that can be tactical, but Phileas Fogg looks so loose in here that I can't really, you know, pick anywhere else. But I thought post time, he's obviously a horse I love seeing run, and I hope to see him back in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile once again.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, he runs so well at Laurel and always shows up anywhere else, but you know, I just love to see him in the winner's circle more outside of Maryland. But he's always super consistent. Happy he's going to stay in.
I agree. We'll wrap up the conversation with the Grade 2 Woodward here. We're all picking the 6. We're all picking Phileas Fogg. Again, keep an eye on scratches. We'll see how things go as the weekend unfolds. We'll move on now to race number 8. Race 8 is the Grade 2 Gallant Bloom Stakes. We're going 6.5 furlongs for 3-year-old fillies and mares and upward. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. Picks are up on the screen. I went 6-5-1. Jackson went 2-5-1. Kaylee went 4-8-2. Jackson, we're going to start with you this time. The number 2 Impel, Brad Cox, Flavian Pratt, and Juddmonte team up for this one.
Yeah, a little different for me. I'm always against this filly. Always. But I'm picking her today. I'm not really sure what to make of the group at all because it was such a slow pace and she got a really soft trip in there and she did win that day. But Regal came back and ran okay, as did Alpine Princess against the, oh God, I forget her name. The horse that won last week at Churchill.
Clico. Oh,
no, at Churchill. 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
She won.
Oh, man.
Older filly. Doesn't matter. Horse came back and won. She's really good. She's good. So that form was validated is the point I'm trying to make. The number was validated. The form was validated. And maybe she just finally turned a corner at this point in her career. They finally figured it out. And I just don't trust the rail horse too much. I don't trust a lot of the horses in this race. She's going to be the right price. I'm hoping they finally figured out what she really wants to do, right? This is the one turn. She doesn't want to go 2 turns. She wants to go 1 turn. She wants to be from off the pace. There probably is enough speed to set it up for her. And I just think with Pratt, with Cox, all these things going on in this race, 6-1 is the right kind of value on this horse. So I'll pick her on top, but not the strongest opinion of my entire life.
I like it. I don't disagree with you too hard there.
Royal Spa. Thank you.
There
Jesus.
you go.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
You got it. There you go. You got
all this
it.
work and you just forget it.
Well done. I'm happy you finally got there. Impel, I gave a long look too. I don't know. I couldn't get too enthused on a lot of what I've seen lately, other than the one number last time out. Let's talk about the rail horse, Our Disaster. I feel like this horse should be loose in here. I picked this horse third. This horse has never been worse than second in 11 career starts, but a lot of those are, either against state breds or optional claimers, but has 4 of her last 5 versus stakes company. She's won 1 of those stakes and finished second in all the rest. Jackson, I know 2 back. We won't talk too much about the honorable mistakes, but outside of that, do you think this loose speed is going to be dangerous going 6.5? And how long do we think that she can hang on for? Jackson, you and I both picked this horse in third. I feel like, again, another kind of second place is maybe looking at her.
Well, I'm not sure. Is she really completely loose in here? A lot of it depends on what Senza Parole does. Because if Senza Parole goes lead again like she did last time, which I know didn't work, I'm not sure if that's the plan today. But if she does go to the lead, that doesn't exactly set it up for Our Disaster. And Patricia Ann is very fast, too, from post 3. So is Our Disaster probably supposed to be in front? Yeah. But she was in front her last 2 starts, too, pretty easily. And she ran okay. The 90-91 buyers she earned in those races with good setups, they don't tower over this field. They're pretty much on par with what everyone else is running. So I know she's loose. I know she's potentially loose. I know she's probably going to be the favorite. I wasn't overwhelmed with her chances in the spot.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. And you brought up some good points with Patricia Ann being some speed. And then Senza Parole, who Kaylee, you have in second. So I'll turn it over to you. I thought that maybe this horse after last time, failing at whatever that was, like 2-5, maybe they're going to, change in tactics to kind of rating off some other horses again, because I think she might be a little better with a target.
Yeah, I think that was also first off a layoff as well. She hadn't run in a year, so I'd imagine that she's going to run pretty well. Especially, this is an aggressive placement for this horse. At this point, she's very lightly raced. Certainly, her debut figure fits with the field, and I'd imagine she'll take a step up off the last one as well. But I have a lot of interest in the number 4 Scalable for Pletcher. I think this horse, is going to have a decent amount of speed in the race and coming off a long layoff, but that's even more aggressive for Pletcher. And I found a stat, first off with 200 to 260 day layoff in graded stakes. He's 7 for 16, 44% Pletcher. So that definitely stuck out to me. I thought that she should get a pretty nice setup here. I have a lot of interest in this one, especially at 6-1, but I think Senza Parole should run pretty well. I have her second, and I also like Jackson's top pick as well here. So, I thought that this honestly was my favorite race of the day.
I like it. Yeah, you seem to have a pretty strong opinion with Scalable, and I hope you get every bit of that 6-1, because this is a horse that I think has been kind of dying for that fast pace. And you're right, she does have there is a chance that she gets that pace today coming off that layoff. I think that would only help her. Going the 6.5 for a long distance. I went with a bit of a price. I went to the 6 all class. Linda Rice, Kendrick Carmouche. I thought this one's also going to kind of sit that right kind of trip off the pace and kind of get the first jump on those late closers. Maybe Scalable being one of them. I feel like she's going to sit a very similar trip to Senza Parole, but she's going to be outside. She'll be in the clear. She's going to have to take a pretty significant step up, but I like those 2 races she's coming out of. Very dominant victory and none to other than company 2 back. And then an okay effort last time out when losing to Our Disaster. But that was a 5-horse field. Our Disaster was pretty loose in there. So I feel like she's going to get a little bit more pace. And I do think the 6.5 is going to make a substantial difference compared to the flat 6. So I want to give this one a chance, especially at the price.
Yeah, I thought there was also a possibility she could inject a little bit more speed into the race as well. I know it doesn't look that way too much on paper, but just judging maybe how they're going to want to play this race, and Carmouche is aboard as well, and I think that she could be more forwardly placed than maybe we expect. I think just my one concern was the Lasix, switching off Lasix, but she fits figures wise, and I thought that was a good price to take a look at as well.
Yeah, off Lasix could certainly be a concern, but I felt like at 10-1, and the way Kendrick's been riding just the past, I don't know, 6 months.
Yes,
he's just been lights out. So I want to give him a shot at 10-1. That price is right for me. Jackson will be back momentarily as some part of his Wi-Fi or something is cut out. I went with the 5 Sterling Silver. I thought this one was a little interesting just because you kind of get it. This one has excuses in her last 3, excuse me. Obviously last time out didn't love the turf. And I think Mott taking her again right off the turf, in that subsequent race says a lot. Like, okay, we tried that. That I don't think is what she's going to want to do. 2 back in the Johnstone. My main squeeze set such an easy pace in there. Sterling Silver had no shot. And then 3 back. I don't really know what the biggest excuse was, but maybe 1 1/8 is just a touch too far for her because she did have the lead, with about 100 or so yards to go. I feel like the 6.5 is really going to help her in this spot. She's going to need some of that pace. She's going to need that setup. So I do hope things, heat up on the front end a little bit so they can kind of melt down towards the end. But I feel like her price might float up a little bit too. I think 7-2 is very respectable, but I feel like she might get forgotten about in this group.
I agree. And it's pretty funny. I mean, that you and Jackson both have her in your top 3 and I don't have her. I think she really scarred me. I mean, I was making cases for her in all of her last few races and also betting her as well. So honestly, I couldn't come up with another scenario. But I won't be surprised when she runs well. And especially if you look at her graded stakes races as well, not against state company, just open company graded stakes. She always runs well. So just her being here, I think you're right, is a signal she could be live for Mott.
Yeah, Jackson, we're talking about the 5 Sterling Silver, who you also have in second.
Yeah, I like her in this spot too. The 2 and 5 are kind of like 1A, 1B for me. This kind of feels like her last. This could be it for her if she doesn't run well. Her last couple of starts, like the turf race, she's not a turf horse. We've seen enough of her in the grass. She's not what she wants to do. The race 2 back at Saratoga, they just handed my main squeeze that race. I mean, she was allowed to just crawl on the front end. She was never going to run well in that spot either. And then the race 3 back with 2 turns, 1 1/8, made her usual move, and she ran her 8 furlongs, and then she said no mas. So I think going back to 1 turn is what she really wants to do. She's got plenty of numbers to make her the horse to beat in this race too. If you go back to the 95, 92 straight earlier this year, I mean, that's better than what Artazaster is running. So if she gets some pace in front of her, getting back to 1 turn, I think there's a lot to like about this mare. And also, she's just really cool. She shows up basically every single time, dances every dance. I hope she runs well in this spot.
Me too. It'd be really cool to see her show up once again on a graded stakes stage and get a win. Any others that we need to talk about? I think we just talked about them all. So we'll move on to our last race here. It'll be the Vosburgh Stakes going 7 furlongs. But to wrap up race number 8, I went 6-5-1. Jackson went 2-5-1. Kaylee 4-8-2. Race number 9 up on the screen picks her up. I went 8-1-2. Jackson 6-1-8. Kaylee 1-4-9. So let's start with the rail in a horse that I knew we'd all have some love for. Kaylee, I'll start with you, and then Jackson take it over, as I know you have some strong feelings towards Scotland in here.
Yeah, this horse is just, all class. I think that he's run really well against some tough horses. Obviously, Bookham Dano last time out in the Forgo. Bookham Dano, I believe, is a really, really good horse. And this horse ran a good race against him that day. And I think that he can sit a nice trip, tracking right off the pace. I have trust in Junior Alvarado to work out a trip from where he drew. Doesn't really concern me too much. And I think he's Scotland's second choice, I believe so, right? On the morning line, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. I'd imagine I won't be surprised if he goes off as, the favorite here, but he was one that, stuck out to me like a sore thumb I believe that he'll improve off that last effort. And again, he's just rounding into form. I mean, first off the bench, he ran well that day, switched off Lasix in the forego and ran really well. So I think he'll sit a nice trip and is super live in this race.
Yeah, he ran great in the Forego Stakes. Jackson, I know you had a bit of a bias, playback angle in the Grade 1 Forego, but he ran really well behind Bookham Dano. I assume you had that exacta, but you like Scotland again in here, so go ahead and take it away with your points.
Yeah, I mean, he's the horse to beat, right? I think he is the more line favorite. He'll probably, I gotta imagine, he will be a favorite in this race. I was a little conflicted though, because the race 2 back, it was legit trouble. I mean, that was huge rail bias that day, and he overcame it and ran really well to run third behind a couple of decent horses in there. But then in the Forego, it was the complete opposite. He had everything his own way. That was super hot pace that completely fell apart, and he was the one that took advantage the most, and also kind of just ran the same number that day. He didn't really take a huge step forward that I was kind of hoping for. At the same time, though, that 96 is probably good enough to win this race. I just wasn't sure if there's a whole lot of, at 5-2, it's a big difference between taking last time Club 1 and taking him at 5-2 in this race from the rail. There's not a whole lot of speed in here, so I'm going to use him. I just don't love him as much as I did last time.
Yeah, that's very fair. He's gonna need some substantial pace, and I don't know that he'll get every bit of that. But we'll keep the conversation moving. We'll go to the 8. I'll talk about the 8 real quick. Patriot Spirit for Michael Campbell coming in here. I'm like leaning off the screen right now. Sorry. There's a fan somewhere behind me here, and it's it feels nice because it's like 105 degrees in this room. But the number 8 Patriot Spirit. I don't know. This is a bit of a fuzzy horse for me, but I thought that, drew well towards the outside, has a lot of early gas, and has the ability to finish races really strong too. So I know those Colonial races don't always hold up the strongest, but I felt like this one ran well. Derby weekend in the Knicks Go Stakes, finishing a close second, has been a little touch and go in terms of being on the racetrack, but at least came back last time out at Colonial and ran a good speed figure. I feel like he can maybe take another step forward off of that. And again, I think he kind of drew the best of this group in here. He's going to sit a nice clean trip, and I hope that maybe that makes a difference. I feel like 5-1. That's a fair price, but I feel like he's another one that might get a little bit forgotten about in a spot like this.
Yeah, I think that he could get forgotten about a little bit as well. Just a little hard to trust just based on his form, but I thought that was a good price as well. And I thought that also coming in off a layoff that he can inject obviously more speed into the race as well. So he'll play a big role.
He should play a big role in here, no doubt. Jackson, we'll go to you. Number 6, Baby Yoda, got claimed for $100,000 last time. $1 million winner. Claimed out of the Belmont barn. You like this one going 7 furlongs, Flying P Stable, and Robert Falcone. Take it away with what you like on this one. Your top pick.
Top pick. Yeah, we'll give him a shot in here. We talked about there's really not a whole lot of speed, and the horses that are supposed to take a lot of money here are coming from way out of it. And I think Baby Yoda is going to be able to get that stalking trip that a lot of the horses. He's going to get a jump on the favorites, I should say, because Crazy Mason comes from way out of it, and so does Scotland. Kind of comes from way out of it too. So I'm hoping he can get first run on those horses. Outside of the 8, I mean, I guess 7 is going to go too, light the way. Outside of those 2, there's really not much speed unless Super Child does end up running in here. I think most Delaware horses are not expected to run on Saturday here. But look, last time it was better than look. That race just completely held together. He is the only horse, dude, any kind of running from off the pace. And he did get up to win that day. I think that was a race that's better than it looks. And if he shows up with one of his, out of the blue big numbers, he's going to win this thing. And at 6-1, with the trip he's projected to get, I think he's worth a shot in this race because I just think he's going to park himself right behind those 2 speed horses. He'll just get the first jump on the deep closers, and we'll see what he's got in the stretch. But I do like that Ricardo picks up the mount on him too because we know how aggressive Santana can be.
He does. Baby Yoda has that kind of X factor where if he decides to run the best race of his life, everybody else is running for second. So it's tough to find out when exactly that's going to be. But maybe being in the new barn, maybe he just wakes up and maybe he wants to make Belmont pay for putting him in for $100,000. I don't know.
I have a hard time believing that someone's gonna move this horse up, and improve him from the way Mott had him. I think maybe he's had his best day already.
On the flip side, though, he feels like a horse that Mott never ever truly figured out because he was so inconsistent. Like maybe I'm not saying that I'm expecting him to figure him out. But maybe this is what he needed, just a little change of scenery to get him going.
Yeah,
He's
there's
a cool horse, that's for sure.
very, very cool horse. By perspective, who I couldn't tell you another one of his progeny, but Baby Yoda is going to reign supreme on that family tree for quite some time, I would imagine. We'll go now to the number 4. We'll go to Doc Sullivan. Kaylee, you have this one in second. John Ortiz trains this runner, ridden by Jose Ortiz or Joel Rosario. So close.
Yeah, this is a horse honestly taking a little bit of a shot at. Sorry, as my computer buffers, maybe one of you can take it away first because I can't get back to the screen.
Oh yeah, no problem. Jackson, we'll talk about the 9 Crazy Mason, who I know Kaylee also picked in third. And while she waits for this to load, you and I had some love for this horse a little bit in the Bing Crosby. But you, Jackson,
more than a little bit.
Yeah, you had more than a little bit.
I was walking around, introduced myself to people saying, yeah, bet Crazy Mason. Bet Crazy Mason. Hi, I'm Jackson. Bet Crazy Mason. And then he ran.
Hi, yes. Bet a deep closer at Del Mar over the summer. Yes, that'll work great. Bet that horse. Yeah, going 6 furlongs, easy. Yeah, no, it's okay. The best horse in the world won that race, so what can you do? And Love Sick Blues. All right, Kaylee, I assume you're back with us. Yeah. We'll go back to the number 4 and Doc Sullivan, and then we'll go out to the outside runner, Crazy Mason.
Yeah, I'm taking a little bit of a shot with Doc Sullivan. I mean, he's not a huge price, obviously 6-1, but I do believe that John Ortiz has the ability to move this horse up. This is actually, a trainer switch that I really like here. John Ortiz does a great job with a lot of horses that end up in his barn, and I believe in him as a trainer. So I believe that he'll be able to move the horse up. I mean, just the first start with the horse, he placed him in a grade 1, and he did not embarrass himself that day whatsoever. I thought that the horse fits in nicely with this field, certainly figures-wise as well. And, not a horse that's going to be too close to the pace, but one that, has versatility. It can sit, a couple of different types of trips here. I thought that he's just an interesting price to put. Fits, honestly, with this group.
No, he certainly does. I think Doc Sullivan's an interesting runner. You mentioned John Ortiz, now third time in the barn, but has run in nothing but stake races, which tells you this horse is doing well. So, and he clearly moved the horse up a little bit. If you go back to the debut on that muddy track, and then he faced a really tough field. Obviously, losing to Bookham Dano in the Forgo, that race always comes up really tough. So I'm curious to see how this one runs, and I think Joel Rosario probably fits him pretty well. Maybe want him a little more involved early, at least a little bit closer, because I don't think he has like a huge turn of, kick for home. But I do think that he's a threat if he's involved a little bit more early. Another New York bred facing opens. That feels to be a common theme. We'll stick with you, Kaylee. We'll go to the number 9, Crazy Mason. If you want to wrap it up here with, I guess I'll talk about Nash a little bit. But the number 9, Crazy Mason, another one coming from off the pace.
I mean, he loves Aqueduct. He's a horse that always shows up, and he's going to have good pace to run into. I imagine that he runs a big race. I tried to put a price in between, obviously, because I picked the favorite with Scotland, but I mean, Crazy Mason, I'll be really surprised if this horse doesn't finish in the top 3. He's super consistent, maybe not with where he finishes, but, the figures, the only race that you can really critique, like you guys said, is the one out in Del Mar. So every other race, he's a standout against this field, and he's also he's not to be left off any tickets, I believe, as well. I think he's a win contender here as well. So
definitely. I hope this horse maybe gets forgotten about a little bit is Chris Couples with a pretty funny comment, as he will be closing from Philadelphia because he has just absolutely no early speed, which is why kind of the outside post doesn't really concern me at all. He's going to just drop to last and he'll make his run. Manny Franco back aboard here. So yeah, ran really well in the Forgo to close into that pace, finishing behind Scotland and behind Bookham Dano. So I'm curious to see how this one runs, and I'd like him around 4-1, maybe 9-2. I don't know if I want to take him at 3-1 in this field. Just I don't think that there's enough pace in here. But again, what do I know? He's a very talented runner who does love Aqueduct. Jackson, you look like you have something to say.
No, I was going to say he's like the rare closer that actually is better with more distance, just because it takes him so long to get going. He is so slow in that first quarter mile. It takes him forever. So 6 furlongs is not what he wants to do. He needs every bit of that.
Yeah, He needs everybody to 7. I wonder how he would do at those 7.5 races at Churchill. They occasionally guard on the dirt. All right, last one we'll talk about before we wrap it up is the number 2 Nash. Jackson, you liked Impel for the reasons that you get Brad Cox and Fabian Pratt at 6-1. That's the reason I like Nash in this spot. This is a horse where they obviously thought the world of him early on, and he just kind of needed a little bit of time to develop. That A.G. Vanderbilt at Saratoga, I don't know what happened. I mean, obviously he had a pretty rough start, and he was a little bit eliminated. Just an L is what I see.
L for Lasix.
Oh, I see. Yeah, he's won off Lasix in a stake race before. I don't think it makes a huge difference. He's run fine. I know going off Lasix, I think that's valid, but I also think he had plenty of excuses in the Vanderbilt last time out. I think Pratt's going to have him involved early. I love this isn't first time Pratt, it's second time Pratt, but I'll take it. And again, you're going to get a decent price on this horse, and I think the value will be there because on his best day, he runs that effort 2 back. Everybody in here is running for second, even Baby Yoda on his best day. So I'll take a slight stab with Nash. He'll be on my tickets. I don't know that I think of him as a true win contender. You know, if you ran this race maybe 20 times, I think he probably only wins one of those. But I do think that there's a chance that Pratt can really move him forward once again and get him more involved in the race.
So he only wins 1 out of 20, but you like him at 6-1 a little bit.
Maybe 1 out of 10. Maybe.
No.
I don't know. Pratt's pretty good.
Well, it's interesting that he ends up on Nash. I mean,
it is. I don't like to pay attention to jockey musical chairs too much, but on occasion it's a little interesting. So I was more or less. We'll wrap up
for jockey musical chairs. I'm going to start drinking for that.
You are, yeah. I keep wanting to say jockey karaoke because of the event that goes on in at Del Mar, and I think the East Coast has it too out in New York. But wrapping up the race number 9, I'm going 8-1-2. Jackson 618, Kaylee 149. I've been losing it this summer towards the end of our shows because it is just so hot in this room. I'm just trying to drink water. I can't even have a beer anymore because it's just so hot that the beer basically turns into tea. It's all bad. So, Jackson, any parting words from you, my man, before we are all together next week, a week from today-ish, out in Kentucky?
No, looking forward to the racing this weekend and looking forward to seeing you guys next week. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Keeneland Breezes and Tito's Trifectas, or what was it that, Kaylee, that we're drinking out there?
Oh, yeah, the Tito's Trifecta.
There we go.
Pretty good. Definitely. But I'm so excited to get out there for opening week. I mean, It looks amazing. I finally saw, the building that they've had covered up.
Is it ready?
Oh, yeah, it's ready.
Months. Yeah, it's uncovered now, and they have the new stalls all set up. So, they've been, anytime I've even taken a leisurely walk around Keeneland, there's been someone there working on something. So I'm excited to see it all, on opening day and obviously be with you guys and Matthew as well coming down. So
yeah, that's right. It's going to be an absolute party. We'll have to do something in terms of a show, or I don't know.
Are you guys there all weekend? Is Matthew going to be there on Sunday?
Yeah. Definitely.
We're gonna watch the Eagles game together. I'm ready now.
Oh no! Who do they play next Sunday? I
don't know. We gotta get past Tampa first. They always beat us.
Yeah, they're gonna whoop you guys. All right. For that now, that's the end of our show. We went through all 5 graded stakes going on Saturday. Excellent card. Be sure to place whatever bets that you feel like playing. You can play literally any wager that comes to your mind out at Belmont at the Big A, including I think there's 5 pick 5s that'll be involved in all those graded stakes that we talked about. Kaylee, any parting words from you before we wrap it up here?
No, I'm really excited, and hopefully the weather's going to hold up. Fingers crossed, but regardless, it's going to be a really great day of racing, and I'm excited to see Rebels Romance in the flesh. So
no doubt, same here. I won't be seeing Rebels Romance in the flesh, but I will see. Torpedo's running next weekend at Keeneland, right?
Oh yeah,
next weekend.
We're
Okay. Just want to make sure I had the dates right.
I heard Kaylee's riding in the race.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly, I think it'll be interesting to see her with someone else. I think she could win with one of us on. So,
yeah,
honestly.
She might be able to. Who knows? Maybe Noah Maher will be the surprise rider. But until then, we'll see you next week. Has been the Gallop Out. Your host Ryan, co-host Kaylee and Jackson. Have a good night and good luck.